Well, hello. I don't think anybody's on here yet because I surprised everybody. I am not normally, I haven't went live in a long time, and I don't ever go live on a Sunday. It's crazy. But I'll wait a little bit and see if anybody joins me. Got a lot of stuff I could talk about. Hopefully, my audio is good. In fact, there's nobody on. I can just jump on my other. That's weird. Why am I not? It shows that I should be live, but what the heck? Okay, what's going on? Why am I not? Ah, okay, what's going on? Why am I not? It's been a while. I forgot how to go live. That's pretty bad. Okay. Anyhow, we'll just see what happens here. Give it a few minutes. Man, I had to readjust stuff. I had to figure out how to get back into here. Uh, so we will see how this goes. Give everybody a few minutes to get in here. Man, I've got a lot of stuff going on here recently. Some of you may have seen. I ended up, crashing my car, and oh boy, I can't. Okay, I got to figure something out here because I don't see any comments or place for comments. I've got this thing all goofed up. Boy. Okay, there we go. Oh, there's where comments would go if there was any comments. Whew, I'm out of practice. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, so you may have seen I had a car wreck, totaled my car. Finally got a new vehicle and had the car for like 3 days, and somebody ran into me. So that was fun. Move the speaker a little closer. So I don't think it's picking up that great. I need a boom mic. I think that'd be a lot more fun. Still waiting for Joe up, and I don't doesn't really surprise me because I don't really live stream on a Sunday, and I've never live streamed. I don't think I've ever live streamed on a Sunday, and I haven't live streamed in a long time. On a Sunday, and okay, well, audio sounds good. That's all I wanted to check. So no one's on here yet, but there was a really good Killifish convention a couple weekends ago down in Houston. That was a lot of fun. Just waiting to see if anybody shows up. I'm really not surprised. I gave a 10-minute notice and then jumped in. YouTube's probably kind of mad at me for not, you know, live streaming or posting much content. That's the way it goes, though. I give myself about 10 more minutes. If nobody shows up, I'll just get off here and delete and try again some other time. It is a Sunday afternoon. Temperatures are dropping down here in North Texas. It's starting to get nice out. Somebody looked like they jumped in. Hey, Silver Creek, Skitty. Man, I just had to do a quick live stream. I haven't live streamed in a long time, and I didn't know if anybody was going to show up. I thought YouTube was really punishing me. About to share on my tab. Okay. Man, I need to. Man, it's been a while since I've live streamed. It's been months. It's probably been, I don't know, 4 months or something. Probably March, probably last time I live streamed, I think. But anyhow, what was going on? Got really busy. That's usually when I do start getting busy around April and May. Normally, at the end of May, things kind of calm down a little bit. And thought I'd be able to get back on, but man, it didn't happen this year. It just things kept going and going and going and going and going. Busy, busy, busy. Had a okay. Hey, there was a fish show in the area, in the DFW area. I wanted to go to. I think, in fact, I know Vibes Aquatics actually live streamed from there. So I had all my stuff packed up. Took the day off before. packed all day long, packed fish up, had a ton of fish. My wife had some really awesome new stuff to show off. I mean, I know she has over 500 pieces of jewelry now. Well over that. Probably closer to 700 pieces of jewelry that she was planning on showing off. Man, it was going to be a great day. We had everything. We showed up just about, well, almost there. And I got a phone call from my daughter, and she was frantic. She had been in a car accident, and a pretty bad one, too. She ended up hitting her car and flipping it over. So, yeah, after I figured out it didn't seem like she was in that bad of a car, she was freaked out. Calmed her down and started talking to her. It didn't seem like maybe it was that bad, but she told me her car flipped over. Then I realized, okay, yeah, it's a bad accident. So that's when we decided to go ahead and turn around. We got there at the event, let them know, hey, I'm not going to be able to show up. Had to run back to my house. My youngest daughter was coming to help us out. We rerouted her to go meet Amber in the hospital to make sure she's all right and kind of, be support for her. So then we kind of back to the house, unloaded everything that we probably thought we probably could. We found out that Amber wasn't in that bad of shape. She just beat up a little bit. We weren't real sure, so we ran back up to Weatherford to the hospital and visit with her. So that uh, ended that day. I didn't get to vend it all. Luckily, the DFW Aquarium Association was super nice about it. Not a problem at all. I was really blown away whenever they messaged me that they were going to give me 2 tables free at the next event. Usually I get 3 tables, so they're giving me two free tables this next show. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, that was never expected and never asked for. I really do appreciate it, and really good people, I guess, and helped me out there. So I did appreciate that. Let's see, the comments are gone. Strength and healing, peace and comfort to your daughter. That's so scary. Yep. Silver Creek. Jordan works at Weatherford now. Oh, where's he working, Weatherford? That's kind of neat. Yeah, family first, exactly. Um, and then, just by crazy coincidence, I was in a car accident almost 1 month. It was a day minus 1 month. I actually totaled my car, and this time it was my fault. But it was kind of a weird situation. I was pulling out of my neighborhood like I always do onto a main road. There's 2 lanes go one way, 2 lanes go the other way, and there's a big center median in the middle where you can pull into and then go wherever you want to go. So I was going to go across the 2 lanes going this way and go to the center median and then merge on and go south. And I was actually going to help out. Um, what's his name? Addictive Aquatics. His name is Steven. He does a lot of shows. He has a bunch of tables too, and he was out of town, and his mom wasn't able to help take care of his fish. So I was going down to help feed his fish. Well, somehow I want to go across those 2 lanes. I looked, no one. I didn't see anybody coming. There was somebody turning, kind of coming into the on the shoulder, coming towards me, and I guess the other car was behind that, lined up perfectly behind the other vehicle. I didn't see them. So as I went across, I wasn't in a hurry. I didn't think anybody was coming. All of a sudden, boom, I just get blindsided. I was like, what the heck happened? After I talked to him, the guy that hit me, because of my fault, but he said, yeah, I didn't think you probably didn't see me because at first I didn't see you because you're right behind this other car that was on the shoulder. And I was like, oh, man, it makes perfect sense. So now I'm a little more careful now. If somebody's in that shoulder, I'm going to be watching a little harder. But didn't hurt me at all. I think his wife got hurt a little bit, but not bad. But you could probably see in the little tiny little screenshot thing that my bumper took his door, the side metal panel, right off his door. Just stripped it right off. Hardly did any other damage to his car. Just gone. It was stuck underneath my bumper. That was crazy. So, Silver Creek, dude, you had a crazy bad luck, but I see it like that. All the bad is out of the way for you now. I hope so, and it will be all balanced out now. So glad you made it safe. God's looking out for his peeps. Well, you know what's kind of funny? It took about a week or so. I don't know, more than that to get money from the insurance, whatever, and go buy our car. Had the car for 3 or 4 days and got rear-ended. So I just got my car back like 2 days ago from being repaired from that. So I'm done with all this car wreck stuff. That's 3 in a row. Hopefully it comes in threes and we're just done now. So Man, yeah, that was so. That took up a lot of my time right there, just kind of dealing with stuff like that. It takes more time than you think of calling insurance companies up, getting quotes, taking your vehicle there. It just burns up a lot of time. And then you're already short on time, so then you have to do everything else that you would have been doing during that time. So yeah, you just get up run out of time. Skitty, glad everyone is okay. Sorry for all the mishaps. That happens. Everybody's safe. My daughter got a much better car out of the deal. Her car was in bad shape. Uh, my car was getting old. There's a lot of little stuff going wrong with it. It was barely big enough for us to use. I mean, I was using it and making it work, but man, it's just it wasn't really working right. And there's a ton of little things wrong with it. It had quite a bit of few miles on it, and I was even thinking about maybe getting the new vehicle. It was paid off, but with the money I got from that, we threw a little extra money. We got a much newer vehicle, much better, a little bigger. It's a Santa Fe, so it's a little bigger. It seems like it's going to work out a lot better. So that was cool. Um, so I was kind of hoping I got that. Yeah. So Silver Creek, whoo you get a new car and she gets a new car and we all get in more debt. Yeah, that that wasn't dark, but it was funny. Well, the good thing is, they only let you finance a certain amount of money. So we're trying to we're going to take the money from I got from my car, put it on the other car, and just put a couple $1,000s, just finance a couple $1,000. All you want to do, but there's a minimum they'll even finance because it makes sense because they don't want to mess around with a tiny loan where they're not going to make much money on it. It takes just as much time to manage that loan as it would a big loan. So they limited. So we had to do that, and then we just took the extra money, threw it on the loan whenever we got the thing set up. We'll have it paid off in like a year and a half, probably, maybe two max. So it's not a big deal. I got a much better vehicle, so I'm happy with that. Oh man! So what else has been going on? Oh yeah, there was a really big Killifish show down in Houston called the Taco Bell Review. So Taco stands for Texas Area Killifish Association. Uh, Art runs that down there really well. That is a really well run organization. I love going down there. So they have one day you go out. We show up on Friday. End up spending the night at Art's house. He's gracious enough to put us up. So we first get there. Of course, first thing you're doing is benching your fish. So you take your fish and you put them in these small little critter carriers, little critter keepers. They're very small, but they're not designed to be kept in there. That's just for the show. So you put your fish in there, sponge mop, a spawning mop if you want, just for cover, to make them feel a little bit more secure. You get those all set up. I think I brought like 30, 31 pair of fish for the show, and I brought several other pairs just to sell if somebody shows up on a Saturday before we do an auction. It's even be one thing to buy. So that was pretty cool. So get down there Friday, hurry up, do that. Then we went to dinner. Let's see, Silver Creek. Never ask you, but I'm quite curious. Uh, what are you top few bucks for Killies? Looks lunch to okay. What are your top few bucks for Killies? Looks longevity, overall ease of care. Oh, top few picks. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. So then on Saturday, get up early in the morning and do some judging. So I was able to hang out with Steve. Steve is basically Art's right hand man down there. He and Steve and Art are the ones that do most of the judging. If they have a bunch of fish in a class, they use up judges on class. If they're a guy judge it because they kind of know their own fish. But I was able to start learning how to judge the fish. So hopefully one of these days I can be a judge. I'm not really anxious to jump into that yet because I don't think I'm skilled enough. It takes a little more knowledge, I think, because part of what you're looking for is if the fish in a tank looks like the fish would be in the wild. That's important. So that's or what it's supposed to look like. If it's kind of a morph, like a gold color or something, or one of the color morphs, as long as it looks like it's supposed to look, that's part of the grading. So I don't know. There's classes of fish. I mean, there's whole classes that I really don't know anything about. So that'd be hard for me to judge some of those. Because you don't have to judge every class. You could pick a class to judge. So that's fun. So do the judging, and then Saturday evening, everybody goes and oh yeah, we have during Saturday during the day and towards the evening we have speakers. A couple speakers come in and talk about different things. Man, I had a great speaker talking about collecting over in West Africa. Pretty awesome. I recorded those talks, but he has some photos in there that he didn't have cleared for let everybody else see. So he was clear to use them, but didn't know if I could put them out there. Plus, most of the way through, I was trying to use a little lapel mic, and for some reason, I grabbed the wrong. There's two of them in there. One I had charged up, and one I forgot to charge, and I thought I knew which one was which. Got them mixed up. So halfway through his talk, it died anyhow. So we lost out. Then he talked about how to photograph fish too. He's a really good photographer, super high quality stuff. The other talks was our Hans. He is Nate local to my area here. He's a good friend of mine. So Hans did a talk about his greenhouse. If you guys haven't watched his video on how he built a little outside greenhouse, it's pretty cool. So he went through that, went through more details about what he's got going on with the greenhouse. So that was awesome. Then Saturday night, uh, everybody, then basically you start packing up, putting the fish, breaking it down, the whole event down. So you're taking all the fish back out, putting them in bags. You're sorting out the ones that are going to auction and the ones that are not. Because with this event, you don't have to auction off your fish if you put them in the show. A lot of other Killifish events, you have to auction off whatever you put in the show gets auctioned. But unless you're out of state, if you mailed them in and you don't have somebody there, a person or your own friends or somebody there to take your fish, they're going to get auctioned. So a lot of my fish did not get auctioned. So you bag up all your fish and everybody else's fish for the auction, label everything, get it all ready. We got most of the stuff done Saturday night, and then Sunday morning you hurry up and finish with that, so we could do barbecue. Man, Art's wife and Art put on a nice little spread with burgers and sides and everything. It was awesome. Everybody could pitch in and bring some stuff that they wanted to contribute. It was a great day. Then we start the auction. We'll do the event. Do the awards ceremony first, and then we did the auction. That I live streamed, so that's on my live stream. If you want to watch that, that's pretty awesome. I actually did really well this year. I bought a lot of fish too, a lot of pairs, but I believe I won 13 awards and 5 first place. So that was pretty cool. I was pretty happy. Uh, so let me go through the chat real quick. Let's see. Okay, I'll get to your Killifish question here in a few moments. Cool. I'm there for it. Greetings, Fish Fam. Hey, yeah, hi, Fish Family. Silver Creek, what? I don't believe there is someone more skilled than you in Killifish. Nope, don't believe it at all. You're the king. Oh, man, nowhere near. I I am, yeah, Dunning Kruger, that scale that comes up to the top and drops down. I'm worried that I'm somewhere up on the top of that Dunning Kruger. I haven't done it long enough, and there's people who know, man, so much more than me. I have just scratched the surface. I'm just at a point now where I'm starting to see what I don't know. So I'm still a novice at this. I really am. I'm working hard to get to that point, but learn as fast as I can. But man, killifish, I think there's over 1,400 named species so far. That's a lot to learn. There's so many different ways they breed. They're from every continent except for Australia and Antarctica. So their parameters, their living conditions, the way they spawn, it's a whole nother world. Hans, working on the summer update now. Oh man, I can't wait. I do want to see that. I was outside here. Was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. It was last evening. Or was it this morning? I can't remember. Whatever it was, I was out there. I was counting leopard frogs in my area. Now this is something ponds may not have to worry about because his is more sealed up than mine. Mine is not sealed up at all. So I have leopard frogs. I counted 13 leopard frogs in there, which is kind of cool. Wasn't worried where I was going with this. I wanted more fish and tubs and stuff, but I've got a lot of plants and stuff growing out there. Some really cool native sword plants. They're 2.5 feet tall, coming out of the water. They're absolutely awesome. I need to shoot some more photos, more video. That same tub has got hundreds, if not 1,000, tiny tadpoles in there, and I'm 99% sure they're toad tadpoles. I don't know which species. They're either going to be Gulf Coast toads or Woodhouse's toads. Don't know yet. They're going to have to get much bigger before I find out. That thing is loaded with toads, which is cool. I'm helping wildlife out. I've seen 3 or 4 species of frogs in there in my little area right now, and it's getting dry out, so everything's kind of congealing to my little water oasis. Sketty. Oh, interesting. So wild form is preferred to breed for traits like color, etc. Well, in the show, not necessarily. It's just they need to look like they're supposed to look, no matter if there are native, a natural color, or if they're some kind of morph. As long as they look like they're supposed to look, and the same right size. So you have a size they're supposed to get to. You don't get extra points for having a giant, but you do get points taken away if they're too small. So they need to be at least a certain size. So that, but big ones are cool to look at. Silver Creek greenhouses are a world on their own. Every one is different, absolutely. Silver Creek, wow, that makes me feel like a fledgling. Silver Creek, and I get it. I'll, always learning, always. Let's see, Silver Creek, native source home. Excuse me, sir. Uh, I deal. Definitely need work out there. We'll travel for plants, man. I will blow your freaking mind if you just will go. We can find time. Both of us can find time to go down to the wildlife management area I want to take you to. There are acres and acres of nothing but sword plants down there, and then there's other areas that there are as much or more areas of lotus. There are so many different plant species down there that'll boggle your mind. So swords are not a problem. I took a few of them from that area because you could not hurt the population of swords no matter what. I've even had swords already propagating in my pond. It's only been out there for a few weeks. It's awesome. What do I show you? But this area is so much wildlife and so rich and diverse and stuff that it's. I love this area. You've got to go with me one time. Hopefully here soon. It's starting to cool down. It's not 110 degrees in the middle of the day because it's a couple-hour drive for me. It's not close. That's the problem. But man, I got to shoot some video out there and do like I don't know if I can do a live stream out there. I don't think I can get good signal. I do need to do some more video. You will love it. So basically, if you're not getting new wild strains to be to prevent any sort of inbreeding, is it corrupts colors? Not necessarily. It can. You can start getting things that are wander off of what the native fish look like because of inbreeding or whatever. Because there's not enough diversity there. So what will happen is some people will go out and they'll intentionally bring in new blood. Basically, it's may not even be rare, maybe something but keys. They'll bring a few, try to import some in, get the blood going. Or there is even on the American Killifish Association. Within there are certain species of fish that they have these groups set up that will be like a collaboration of a bunch of people, and everybody in the group tries to trade different their fish around, trying to diversify their genetics a little bit. So that's the whole purpose. And a lot of times when we're breeding things, after several generations, you will go try to find someone that has the same species of fish from the same location because it gets down to locality information. Try to get from the same locality, but hopefully trying to find one that's not closely related to the ones that you have. If you've given your friend some, he's bred them. Getting them back off of him really doesn't help that much because it's still a very small gene pool. You try to reach out and find someone that is something unrelated if you can. So that's what we try to do. 'Tis the season. It's about to be prime season to be outdoors, more based on recent weather. Let's do this. I'm telling you, man, things are starting to calm down to steady. So definitely, I'll be stealing my daughter's camera as well. Yeah, bring a camera. You're gonna like it. Yes, please hit the like and subscribe. Hans, is that where that Richland Creek Wildlife North Unit is? Locality in DFW. My Leucopenia, Goldii had a accident. Yes, sir. That is exactly where they're at. And man, it would be fun. If you could go, Tommy and me, and you bring another friend, like another guy that's local here that likes collecting fish. Head down there. We can collect. There's all kind of different species of fish down there. I mean, if you really get crazy, there's both in there. Very close by is Gus Engling Wildlife Management Area. I have found tons of baby bowfin one spring, just little guys. And I kept one at home, but I didn't realize that I ended up starving it to death. I didn't realize how big appetite they had. I was watching what's his name, Coldwater Aquatics, uh, and he had one down there, and I started talking to him, and he was talking about how much he fed it. I was like, oh man, that's not a problem. So I even conversed with him a little bit and realized I probably starved mine to death because I just had no idea that they got kind of a huge appetite. But I also have a pickerel. He's about 6 inches long or so from last year. He's awesome. That's a favorite fish in the room. Richland Creek. That's not far. I haven't given any of my bluefins away yet. I'm bogarting now. There are tons of bluefin killies there, tons of mosquito fish, uh, lots of top minnows. Golden top minnows are really plentiful there too. They're a beautiful fish. I'm trying to think of what else there's lots of. There's small panfish, ton of gar, carp, oh man, bass, just all tons of stuff, man. It's just absolutely crazy, dude. We gotta set the date soon before they start to hide for winter. You know what? I've been out there late November, and it was November, and they weren't hiding. They were easy to find. It was no big deal at all. We do need to do that though fairly soon because they do close the area down when hunting season rolls around for duck and things. So we gotta look at the dates on their website and make sure they're open. And Gus Engling gets completely closed down for hunting, and the south unit does too, Richland Creek. But that north unit stays spotty through the winter, on and off. So trust me, it's fine. Yeah, yeah, Brandon. I like this local. Yeah, Brandon. I like his local species fish room. Yeah, it's really cool. Hey, Zen Ginger. Hey, you, Michelle. Man, good to see you. Good, good, sir. Howdy, fish folks. Hey, I see you too, Ginger. So, Tommy, back to your question about killifish. Some of the best ones to start with. My favorite, probably because of the availability, price, the information about them. There's lots of different localities. There's even color morphs. Super easy to breed. They're prolific. They're hardy. Would probably be just a good old gardener eye. Fun little Panchex gardener eye. There's lots of different strains. I like the strain that one of the ones I have. What is that one? Mijay. That's a really pretty one. Lots of blues in it. I have some golds, which are very very orange colored and black markings. Absolutely gorgeous. They do great in hard water. I just use my own tap water. They do phenomenal. They like it kind of normal house temperature as long as you're not, freezing them out or cooking them. It's anything above 80, they're going to start really stressing out. But probably down to 65, 68, probably be okay. Wouldn't be a problem. Like a little cooler if you can, but I keep my room. Well, the water temperatures in here about 66, 67. Most of my tanks. Got a couple tanks that like an air vent that blows on, so I keep those cooler for a couple water species. I mean, cool water species like these pearl killifish I picked up. I didn't put in one of those tanks. I just moved it into here. The tank out in the living room was probably too warm from the breed, so I dropped them in here, and hopefully we can get them start breeding. So that could be kind of fun. And so, uh, hoping. So yeah, I'm trying to. Man, I'm getting tired of losing my train of thought. Anyhow, so yeah, the award ceremony was really cool. Then after the award ceremony, we did the auction, kind of thing. And man, I got some really cheap fish. There was a lot of stuff for that auction that went really cheap. Uh, Man, if you want to get started in killifish and you want some good selection and get some really cool stuff, hit one of these shows up. I'll probably try to put more links to them on my Facebook page, the ones that are coming. We only do it once a year down in the Texas area Killifish Association, but there's ones going on throughout the year. They are awesome to go to. Great place to talk to people, and the fish are a ton of fish are on display. We had I don't know. I think we're starting to approach 200 pairs, probably about 180 pairs. So I don't know how many species we had. total, but it's a great time to go around and look at these fish and look at what you look at the fish and see what you like to see. What first what looks good to you. Then start talking to some of the people that have a little experience with those fish and ask them what kind of parameters they need. How do you breed them? Are they annual or non-annual? That's going to depend on how long they live and how you incubate their eggs. So you learn a lot of this stuff. Then you're prepared. Then when the auction comes around and you see the fish on that list that you want in the auction, now you're prepared to buy that fish and take it home. I would, if I when I go to the auctions now, I try to get some tanks prepared at home. I have some empty tanks. I have some empty tanks with a few of them with soft water that's kind of neutral pH or slightly acidic, and I'll get those cycled and up and ready to go beforehand. And I'll have several tanks that have just got hard water and just my tap water. They're all cycled. They By now I get some that are matured. I just move some fish out of them to get empty tanks. Now I've got a ton of empty tanks. Go to the Take some fish with me to the show and the auction. So when those auction off, I have those tanks that those fish are in are empty. So the first year I kept really good track. I was thinking this last year. I took really good track of how many empty tanks I had and what I could buy. This year I didn't do such a good job. I ended up coming back. I thought I had a ton of fish that could fill everything up. I ended up with a lot of empty tanks. So I could have got more stuff. But I didn't want to come home with more fish than tanks. So that could have been a problem. So let's go. Those golden wonder killies from Art. Oh my God, I have over 100 fry already. Yeah, I've got a ton of fry too. Yes, I had a huge hatch rate on mine. I had to separate them because when I got back, my plan was to quickly set up. I got a 29-gallon aquarium over here that I was doing like the Master Dean breeding set in there. His breeding setup. Had it set up, but I wasn't using it anymore because there's no tops, and my setup was better, working better for me. So I was going to break it down real quick and move them in there. Well, I got behind and didn't do it until like yesterday. So I finally got them separated, and I didn't realize how bad she was getting beat up. I had them in a 10-gallon aquarium. So those big fish in a 10-gallon aquarium was not a good idea. So I'm going to let her rest in that 10-gallon. I've got him in the 29. So we'll see how long. Hopefully she recovers okay for me. But man, oh yeah, I got some of the six fasciatus uh, in my tank right behind me. You see this tank right? Well, this is on the bottom. You can't quite see it. It's blurred down. Picked up some to show. Those are cool too. I gotta get those in a bigger tanks too. I might have to move those to a 10. Got those on a 5. I got a 10 ready for when I'm done with the live stream. It's probably one of the first things I'll do is move those guys to a bigger tank because they're a pretty big fish. Move them inside off. Too hot. Yeah, they like it warm, but they don't like it too hot. The Golden Wonders, I bet you can keep those outside. 84 to the 90-degree water temperatures. I lost a couple, but they are almost 5 years old. Oh, man, yeah, they're already old, so they might just lost the old age. Because if I remember right, those epiplates like it pretty warm. Because I've got the epiplates, now they're just, it was Deja, and I don't know, change the name of them. Had those outside when the water temperature got just under 100. It was like 98, 99. They did fine. So hopefully they'll be all right. Hey, LJ Shrimp, welcome. Meet some new golden wonders. Love my Achilles. Well, Hans and I are breeding away at them, so hopefully we'll get some out there. Both of us are having great luck breeding them. They seem to breed pretty easy, so we should have some available. It'll take a little while to grow them up because I know mine just hatched out a few weeks ago, so I haven't really checked on how big they are. I think they're right there. I don't see any swimming near the thing for how big they are, but I bet they'll grow really fast too. Oh man, so hey, something. There's only a few people on here, and probably won't have any of you guys. But do you guys know of anybody, other fish people that have a ham radio license? Just kind of curious. I have had my ham radio license for quite a while. But I hadn't really done with much with it, but I just recently picked up a new radio, so I'm playing around with it again. Little, little tiny little radio. This thing's packed full of free features and does lots of other stuff too, not just ham radio. But just kind of curious if any other the ham family has radios, because I know I can reach out a long ways, a lot farther than I thought I could with this thing. I can hit from my house in the Weatherford 25 miles. I got to 45 miles as my record into a repeater, so that's pretty cool. But anyhow, I doubt if too many other people hang around. It'd just be fun to talk to somebody, uh, other fish people through the ham radio systems or on the repeaters. I bred mine, gave half to Scotty. Unfortunately, mine ate weren't quite big enough. Juveniles and then parents passed. Oh man, I hate that. You give stuff away and you're thinking, I can just breed some more, and then boop, nope. So that sucks. I've kind of done that a little bit here with my rocket killifish, the clown killies. I had a group of them from Jerry oh, shrimp. What's his name? Oh, everybody knows Jerry, the shrimp guy here in DFW area. I love shrimp. Now I can't remember his name, but anyhow, he gave me quite a few of them. Well, I bought a few off him. Got them breeding. Everything was going great. I had a couple pair that were breeding wonderfully. I decided, hey, give one pair, send up to the National Killifish Association for the contest. Well, that's a whole other story. What happened? My fish kind of pop a shrimp. That's it. Thank you, Zen. Uh, so so if those disappeared. I don't know what happened to all my fish I sent. That was a mystery. They must have got stolen or something, but never got judged or anything. Just gone. Anyhow, so uh, I kept a pair. Well, the female now, it looks like she's all bloated up, and I can't. She sits at the bottom of the corner. She comes and eats, does everything great, but then she goes hides. So she's not laying any more eggs for me. My fry are still real tiny, growing up, and it looks like as they get bigger, it looks like they might be all males. I don't see any females in there. So it's like, come on, really? So I'm kind of getting frustrated with those. I've got some blue eye. What do you call those things? They're luminatas. What am I going blank? The little, they're all Pseudomugil luminatas. So I've got a bunch of those too, and they're breeding like crazy. Got a tank full of those, and I have breeding those in the same tank that I'm raising up super red bristlenose plecos. So I've got 30 or so of those in there with those, and they don't seem to eat the eggs, which is great. Let's see, is he going to be part of the new morning show? I didn't know anything about this new morning show. Please tell me more, because I used to like to listen to the morning show that Jesse just had. That was a lot of fun. He was on there with her, so if they're starting that back up again. I would definitely like to know it. I really couldn't do much talking a lot of times as at work, but I could definitely listen and follow along. What do you think of shrimp? Uh, love shrimp. Who else? Little shrimp. Pop shrimp. That's funny. Yeah, I got some shrimp down at the last show too. And man, for some reason, shrimp do not do well at my house. And I think I'm figuring out why. My KH is really high, my pH is really high, but my GH, which is the calcium, is fairly low. It's not terribly low, but it's pretty low. It's not zero for sure. But I just don't think they do well in that with that low GH. I think they just slowly die off, and I had two different groups, and I lost them all. So I just kind of given up on shrimp unless I want to go through the hassle of getting some crushed coral or something like that to bring up the levels. I have some shrimp. I am afraid to let them go because I won't get them back for if some back if something happens. Yeah. What I like to do if I get something going I really want to keep, give some of them to a friend that you know will give them back if something were to happen. Kind of like a little safety, which is kind of cool. Can't shed. Yeah, I don't know if they can't shed. But what's going on? All I've heard is there is a new morning show in the near future. I'm up for it. I enjoy Jess. Huh. Hopefully, she doesn't get burnt out again because I can understand doing it every day. It's just, man, I couldn't do it. I'd get burned out pretty quick on that. Trying to come up with something to talk about. Oh, I didn't. Uh, Venuskay? I don't know how to pronounce that. Welcome. Sorry. I am horrible at pronouncing names, and I will mispronounce names. I will forget names, but man, I don't want to. But usually, I don't may not remember your names, but I remember, who you are, what you do, all about you. But I may forget your name. I have KH of 5 and a GH of 9, 330 TDS, and I can keep some Neos like blues and cherries, but a lot else without a lot of work. Yeah, my KH, I don't know how many degrees that is, but I know it's way up to the top. And man, my GH is almost at the bottom. My TDS is about what yours is coming out of the tap. But TDS just means there's stuff in your water that's the soluble that used to be a solid. That's really all that means. I know a lot of people try to say that's to do with how hard or how soft your water is, but you can have a very high TDS and soft water. But you can't have the other way around. If you have hard water, you cannot have a low TDS because that's the whole point of having hard water. Something is dissolved in it. Usually it's calcium dissolved in your water, and that's going to show up as on your TDS meter. So just because you have a high TDS does not mean you have hard water at all. Now, what can help you is if, like for me, I know where my levels are at, my KH and my GH. So if I'm not doing water changes in my tanks, so normally I don't have to. Everything's covered. I check it, man. All my levels stay low. My nitrates stay almost zero. Sometimes I can't grow plants in my tanks. The 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 the, uh, the nitrates drop so low. I mean, duckweed even dies sometimes in them. They're just so low. There's zero stuff in there. But uh, my TDS is really high. Uh, So what I do is, TDS will stay at like 300 when I come out of the tap, and I'll watch it. If as it evaporates off, my replacing water, it'll start to rise. It'll get way over 1,000 at TDS. And then I know, hey, I probably should do a water change because stuff is building up in my tank. That's what it tells me. Things are building up. That's all it tells me. Now, after testing it over year after year, what that usually means, my KH is going through the roof because it's going through all the limestone here. My pH usually stays, that like 8.6 or higher, sometimes a lower, kind of fluctuate right around there. So, and the problem is my KH, my pH is so high that if I do put crushed coral in there, it doesn't really get broke down because it takes the acidity to break down that coral to release it into your water for your calcium. So that's where I'm kind of at. So even if I put crushed coral in there, I may not get the results that I would expect to get. So it's just kind of the way things work. All right, let me see where we at here. You entered some killifish at Clash. Yes, I did. I ordered some killifish there, and I've got some metals. See those metals right there's one, and there's a metal over here. Yeah, right there. Those are from the Keystone Clash. So I won some awards up there too. That was pretty cool. And I also sent a bunch of fish up to the Waco and for judging, and it was the winter time, and nothing arrived alive. Everything was killed. So I'm assuming they got left on a truck or got on the outside of a truck. So I'm sure they got froze and died. So nothing I could do about that. Just kind of stuff happens. Let's see. So the rest is other, absolutely, and it could even be salt. You want to try it? Take your TDS meter, stick it in a little water, and start sprinkling a little bit of salt in your water. Watch your TDS go through the roof. That has nothing to do with how hard your water is at all. That is just stuff being dissolved. You can take different salts too and drop it in there, and you'll see different like Epsom salts, whatever you want, table salt, all that stuff, and it will not adjust your hardness at all. But TDS will go through the roof. I got third on my gardener eye. I'm entering again. Awesome. That'd be cool. It's very cool. It's always fun to learn some of those words like that. It's pretty cool. Uh, Try to enter some of your fish in some of the other shows. The Keystone Clash is a smaller show, so you don't get very many points because there's not a lot of fish in each class. The more fish there are in the classes, there's like different graduations. So once you get so many fish, you actually get a little more points. There's more fish, you get more points. And if you enter your fish into the national convention, those points are no matter how many fish, as long as there's enough fish to make a class. There has to be a minimum, I think, of 6 fish in there that are all graded above 70 points. I think I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but I know there's some parameters there. You have to have enough for a clash for a clash, enough for a class, then you get a lot more points at nationals than you do for the other shows. Not saying you shouldn't send them to other shows, but if you keep sending fish in, you create some good points. So I don't know how many points I got at this last convention here, but I did a quick calculation, and I'm not sure I did it right, but I think I'm well over 100 points, which is pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Han says crushed coil is a buffer. Just for that, keep the pH near 7, a good cheap alternative. Go to the feed store and get crushed oyster shells. I was thinking about trying to use the chicken, what do you call it stuff? It's not scratch, that's the food. They sell stuff that basically is crushed. Maybe that's what you're talking about. The oyster shell stuff that the chickens use for. Uh, they put it in their gullet or whatever they put in their gizzard, and they grind it all up. Uh, so that I was going to try that, but I just don't know if that stuff would work or not. But it looked like it should. And with all the fertilizer runoff around Texas, I'm sure there's lots of excessive chemicals and salts. There's a lot of salts in the Brazos River, but it's not artificial. This used to be a giant, basically an area where the ocean was set. So the rock, the limestone we have here, used to be the bottom of the ocean. It was built up. You can find tons of shells and things in those formations. And there are certain areas that the rock has a very high salt content because of the ocean being there. So as it dissolves and runs off, the river gets a little bit of salt in it. Now we're not talking anywhere near considered salt or even brackish or anything like that. You can just detect it, barely detect that there's salt in there, except for in the summertime and some of the upper tributaries. One of them is called Salt Creek because during the summertime, although the creek area will dry up. As it dries up, it concentrates all that salts to a smaller and smaller area and a smaller volume of water. That can actually be twice the salinity of the ocean in some of those little creeks. So you have things like plains, plains killifish that live in that area and can handle that kind of salt levels. And some of the pupfish, like the sheephead minnows, can handle super high salinity water too, which is really cool. That might be the only fish that actually lives in that part of the creek. That's all shrimp are. Big shows. Big shows you need group that match. Big shows you need group that match. I'm not sure. I'm probably reading that wrong. That's how shrimp are. Okay, anyhow. Hans. That's the one. They sell it for chickens. Okay, I have seen that, and I really considered doing it. I was going to test it and see how that worked. I'm just wondering if it'll work in the water that's got that really high pH in it. I could use rainwater, I guess. It works. I've used it for the reef tank. I only stopped because I didn't have any real feed stores around me anymore. The country moved away from me. Well, yeah, luckily down here I've got some feed stores. Tractor Supply has it, so I'm sure there's probably Tractor Supplies around. That's where I saw it at. But I've got Arrow Feed. Well, Arrow Feed's gone now too. It got bought up by somebody else. But there's a few feed stores around here. Uh, are there any brackish or partially brackish critters that breed in those pools? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the only thing is some of the killifish. It's about the only fish that lives in those pools. And you kind of answer like yeah. Uh, so yeah, that's and there's even like a freshwater crab too, and that lives in the Brazos River. It's a white clawed crab, if I remember name. There's another name for it too. It's close to my mind. Anyhow, it's about an inch long or so. Well, about an inch and a half. I've seen them. Really cool freshwater crabs. If you just go flip on some rocks this time of year, you'll find tons of them underneath it there. I've kept them. They're really cool little creatures. In fact, I need to put a couple of those in some of my tanks. They're really neat. You put some rocks down and you have them angled up so the sand levels here. They'll go and they'll start burrowing right down underneath the rock. And I've had that as a little burrow. They'll come out and they'll do the little stuff and they'll go back. They're great for eating algae. I've seen them eat tons of algae. I have not seen them mess with other fish or other fish mess with them. They kind of just do their own thing. They're really cool. Harris's crabs. I don't know. I just popped in my head. So Harris's crabs are a really cool little crab. I need to look into those and see if I can maybe collect some of those and see if anybody would be interested in keeping some because they're really fascinating little crabs. I'm going to find the legal way to get you to this huge spring by me. Dude, it's over 40 feet deep and huge. Over 100 feet of spring, and it's an L shape. That does sound pretty cool. But I do want to keep it legal. Make Hans as popular online as he is in IRL. Yep, that's his channel. It's pretty cool. Just please on crab. Okay. Maybe I should shoot some video. I need to go up there. I got a snake to return tonight. I borrowed to use for a show. I need to take it back. It's just a water snake. They're just bitey and not much fun. They're just plentiful, so I can just go get them anytime I want. I'll take them. I'll use them in Oklahoma to teach some animal control officers how to identify snakes and then how to actually work with non-venomous and venomous snakes. That's a whole day course that I could teach with through adaptation. So it's kind of one of my side jobs. So we just did that a couple weeks ago. Went up there and did that. So I had a bunch of venomous and non-venomous with me, and it was me and a friend of mine, Mario. We went up there and did all day thing. That's probably I don't know, probably the fifth or sixth time we've done that I've done it. So appreciate the call out. Well, media is actually on YouTube. Blue Blade Fish. Aha. Total eye shape is probably 2 to 3. I think you're trying to say football fields long. No shape. Sounds like fun, man. I like finding new places. Me too. That's why I haven't gone yet. I need to contact the natural gas company on the land fenced around it for permission. Yeah, because I can't afford to get in trouble. Since they've been there with only been there twice. Four types, four four types of crabs. Kind of goes with shrimp theme. Yeah, it does. It's kind of cool because these are natives, man. I can just go right down to the lake and pick them up. In fact, the lake's just like a mile from me. Unfortunately, they closed it down to after dark. You can't use it after dark anymore. It's kind of a bummer. But it's one of those I dare you to say something. Been coming up this spring my whole life type of thing. Yeah, most likely the first time they're just going to tell you, hey, just don't come back. And then you don't come back. But if they want to push the issue, it can get a little crazy, especially if they have it marked. If it's got fenced off and it's got no trespassing signs or purple here in Texas, if they you see purple on a fence or on trees or purple anywhere, purple means is a no trespassing sign. You see purple, it's the same thing as a big no trespassing sign. You do not go across that. In Texas, the fines are really big. The jail time could be big. And if you had a firearm with you and you're trespassing, man, it's bad. You do not want to get caught trespassing. And the worst part is you can get shot trespassing too. So, yeah, it could cost you your life. So it's one of those things, I don't mess around with that. Laura is collecting all the crustaceans. She'll have a lobster pond next. Exactly. I'm not going to get you in trouble if it works. Uh, we'll do it for sure. I ain't going nowhere. It's never dry. That's pretty cool. Kind of fun to see what's in there. uh, with you, I'm contacting them first for sure. It used to be Bob Jones, the bail bondsman for Parker County, that owned it, and he took very, very good care of it. That's pretty cool. Very cool. But hopefully, I can get the live stream more often. I think things might start calming down a little bit. I just got a lot of stuff here in the fish room to move around. I'm so busy recently. I did rebuild my tarantula. I upgraded my tarantula enclosure. I've got a green bottle blue. If you ever know what those look like, or Google the green bottle blues, they are one of the best looking tarantulas in the world. They change color too as they get bigger. So they're little. They're really cool looking. Their abdomen is red with black markings on it, and their body's kind of like a normal tarantula color, darker color. And as they molt out, the barring on their abdomen kind of goes away and turns a little more red, and their body starts turning blue. When they're full adults, their body and legs are blue, bright blue, tails, and their abdomen is red. They're a stunning little a spider. The cool part is a lot of the tarantulas, no, they're not a spider, I shouldn't say spiders, they're not a spider, they're a tarantula. That's a different thing. Tarantulas are not really spiders. Uh, the tarantulas normally hide a lot. A lot of the good looking ones that kind of hide come out every once in a while. If you see one, you're lucky. I've got one over here that's a Trinidad. What's it called? Anyhow, it's a big spider. It's really big. But the problem is it hides all the time. With this green bottle blue, they like to make heavy webbing, so they'll web up their whole enclosure. I mean, like heavy, heavy webbing. And then they like to come out a lot. They like to sit out in the open. So they're a beautiful spider, sits out in the open. Their venom is very mild. They do have the little hairs on their abdomen they flick, and they will flick it readily too. So you have to be kind of careful them flicking it in your face and things like that. But that's kind of like fiberglass, probably worse than fiberglass. So yeah, one of those. That's the worst part of them. But they're just beautiful spiders. That's what I thought purple meant. You could get shot. Exactly. Exactly. You do not cross the purple. Yeah, it's just a bad idea, especially here in Texas. Hello, fishing. Is that New Hampshire? Hello, I'm trying my hand at breeding gun-through-eye killifish. No clue how long incubation time and the eggs are. Okay, hang on here. I got gun-through-eye out here right now. That's one of my favorites. Those are absolutely gorgeous fish. The gun-through-eye and the Forstner-eye. And I always get them mixed up which is which. But I actually have a chart that I've copied. See if I can find it kind of quickly for the incubation times. And I can tell you, if I can't find it real quick, you can do a search for the American Killifish Association and do incubation times for that species. And I think it'll pull up that way. Because I know they're on there. That's where I found them at. But it's buried. Not easy to find. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know I have it somewhere saved. I think I have it in this folder. Let's see. That's my bunch of cool stuff. Man, I got too much stuff saved in this folder, but I know I have a screenshot, I believe, of incubation times. Got a ton of cool stuff. Let's see. And next weekend, I've got doing the North American uh, what is it called? NRBC. Basically, it's for reptiles and amphibians. It's in Dallas. Incubation times. Okay, there's a link. Open it. Let's see here. Find it real quick. Okay, there's a whole chart. Let's see here. That would be Nothia gun 3i. Now, incubation times can vary depending on temperatures too. So this shows 12 to 16 weeks at 72 to 75 degrees. And if you get higher than 78 degrees, where did that gun 3i go? 3 to 6. But I wouldn't do it that fast because you're not probably losing a lot of losses. So according to this chart that I have right here, gun 3i is for 12 to 16. So there you go. Hope that helps. And if you look at them eyed up, what eyed up means is you look in the eggs, you'll see the little eyes in there, and sometimes you'll see movement. That's an indication too that they're ready to go. So around that time, when you start getting time to start looking at them, go through and find an egg and look at it, you can actually get little microscopes too. That I've got some that'll plug right in your phone or plug into your laptop. They're cheap, $25 or so. You can buy them on Amazon. But they say they have like 1,000 power and all that stuff. Man, they don't. They're not close to that, but they're definitely good enough to see the eyes in there. I did a live stream when I was looking at some of those eggs, and you could see the heart beating inside of the egg, which I thought was freaking way cool, man. So and those were good to see if they're ready to go or not. Silver Creek, not going to lie. I have been shot at down there at that pond, thinking pond before, but there was a crackhead that, is, that moved into the property nearby, and he thought he owned the pond. Whew, don't worry, I got my vengeance, and he's not there anymore. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to get shot at. That's one of my fears. I don't mind going out and I'm running into animals or weird things like that. But when I come to an area where I'm the only person supposed to be there and there's somebody else there, that scares me every time. I get pretty worried. I heard the shotgun BBs rolling by my head. Whew, man, where we're running. Man, that's crazy. Look, I get spiders. I get spiders live. I'm not. I'm doing my part. I let spiders live. I'm doing my part. I'm not inviting ones in my house on purpose. Man, my wife gets mad because sometimes in the fish room I'll get little house spiders or build nests up and stuff, and I leave them. I think it's cool. They're helping catch any kind of flies or anything flying around. I leave them. I don't hurt them. My wife gets mad at me, but I do have over here a bunch of carnivorous plants too, and those really help keep all the little gnats and things, that ends up being in a fish room. It takes care of those. Yeah, ponded on it. Poor the guy's eating before cutting off his power. Jeez, reporting off. That's funny. That's what you get when you shoot at old Texan Tom. Yeah, that trend just sounds interesting. Yeah, Sketty, do Google them. There's lots of stuff on YouTube about them. They are absolutely gorgeous and they're fascinating little spiders. They don't get giant size, 4 or 5 inch, leg span as big as they get. They don't get giant. Like this is 8 inches, and that's 6 inches. So they don't get anywhere near they're that big. The Trinidad spider I've got, oh yeah, it's almost palm size. It's huge. Yeah, it's New Hampshire. That's up. This is cool. I grew up in Pennsylvania. It's kind of in that same region. 2 or 3 months for my North Country guy. So yeah, just after a couple months to start paying attention to the eggs. And it's going to vary depending on what temperatures you keep them at. So that's that's where we're at. Gardner as well. My first time working with Killies. I know it's 14 days in order. Yes, mine are, man. This is weird. Normally it's 14 days. I mean, it was clockwork. 14 days plus or minus a day, somewhere around there, they'd start hatching out every time. Then all of a sudden, I got a batch of them that wouldn't hatch. I let them sit there, and I had a couple batches since then that went months. We're talking 3 months before they hatch in water, and I'd have other batches from the same parents that would hatch out in 14 days. But for some reason, these would sit there, and finally, I got them to hatch out. Some were hatched out on their own, just sort of randomly hatching out a couple at a time. It was really weird, and the other ones I kind of force hatched by heating them up. Man, it was weird. I don't understand why they did that. It was really frustrating. Don't read those, please. Okay, I won't read them again. Yep, I did egg watch or two. Yeah, 3 or 4 months. So just pay attention. Hans said 2 to 3. So depending, I think you need. I think Hans said that. Let me back up here. I don't want to misquote Hans. Let's get our facts straight. If I can find his comment again. I don't think it was that far back up here, but It's been a while since I've hatched those out. My wife is really into them, so uh, yeah, 2 or 3 months for him. So you just gotta have to kind of watch them. But my wife's really into those, so we're gonna have to help her through hatching them out too. So had to look it up myself anyhow. Jenna P, good afternoon. Uh, Getting shot is not fun ever. My friend Levi and I were I'm only about 12 when this happened. I remember getting shot at, but it wasn't intentional. It was I grew up with my uncle when I was a teenager, and in the wintertime, we like to go hang out in the woods. We went everywhere. I mean, miles and miles. Nobody cared as long as you stayed away from farms. I mean, houses and stuff. Well, one day we told him where we were going to go, and he misunderstood where we went. So he was out with his 307 Magnum pistol, shooting icicles off of trees and off the edge of the house. And we were back in the woods, and man, you could hear the bullets flying through the trees, hitting trees and stuff. That was not cool either. That's about close I've kind of really been shot at like that. Let's see if I missed anybody else. I think it's all. Let's see. Jenna P. Mark, are you planning on entering any Killifish this year into the Clash Fish Show or possibly attending? Well, I can't attend. I'm out of vacation days. I blew up all my vacation days. 2 weeks of that went straight into working for a TV for Paramount Plus. It was one of thought we were working for Paramount, but worked for one of the production companies with them, shooting the movie called Landman. I was out there helping keep them safe from snakes and finding, I don't know, 7, 8 snakes. Most of those were venomous, right, kind of pretty close to their set where they were building. So basically, got this baby set and kept everything clear, and they were building sets out there. And so I didn't get to meet anybody that day. The year before, I got to see some cool stuff, shooting stuff, but not that time. But, so all my vacation's gone, but I do plan on probably sending more fish this year. We'll see what I have left. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I think it's going to be in October. I can't go. Yeah, it's coming up pretty quick. I have to see what I have available to send. There won't be much left. The Texas Area Killifish Association I sent took most of my stuff, and I can't send anything up there without it being auctioned off. So, like I did down at the Texas Killifish Association, I took a lot of my breeders. I took some really nice fish down there because I got some really cool awards too for it. But yeah, so I might be sending a few things, but it won't be much. I sure don't have much really ready to go. Got to grow some stuff out. Got a ton of killifish. I mean, I've loaded up the killies. A lot of them are small, fry stuff. Yeah, I'd say Jordan wife, because of you, is much more comfortable around snakes and identifying them, and with spiders as well. She will pick up spiders now. You hear made an impact. Oh, that's cool. Very cool, Tommy. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. Again, yeah. I think I'm behind a little ways. I'm only 4 minutes. Not a big deal. Jenna, I think he said he did. I'm not sure, but hi. Hello, Happy Place Aquatics. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Let's see what's going on here. What I take from this is that start checking at about 2 months. It could take up to 4 months. I think that's fair. I think it's a fair assessment. And what I do too is once I think they're ready to go, I don't put all of them in water. I don't wet them all. I'll go through there and separate out, a good number of them and do like a test run. So if I think they're ready to go, I'll throw a test run in there and see how they hatch out. If I get a good hatch rate, not all of them may hatch because you may have to pull those eggs back out, dry them again, wait a couple weeks, do it again, and then do that 2 or 3 times to get them to all hatch out. That's kind of the way it works in the wild. Because if it rained one time, you only got a little bit of rain, all hatched out and dried out before they got to grow up to be adults to reproduce. The whole population would be gone. So what you do is you just take but some of them, see if it works. If you don't get any hatchet out at all, just dry them back out, put them back in there, wait another couple of weeks or however long you think you need to wait, and try it again. You got a good fudger in there. It's not like you have to hit it within like 2 or 3 days to get them all hatched. You got a big window there to hit. So that's the way I do it. So if I don't get them to hatch out at all, Put them back in. Wait. That's why I like them. Wait, dude, that's awesome. I'm not sure who you're talking to. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's hey, hey, so oh man, so I'm going to check something here. We had some. I'm in the room. I got the windows kind of sealed up in here. We had some bad, not bad weather. Had some weather coming through. Actually, it's cooling down right now. The temperatures are only. I think they barely hit 90 today. Maybe it's 90, 92. Now it's 91 right now. Feels like 96 though. Yeah, I got a little bit of spotty stuff south of us. I'm actually on call this weekend, so at any moment the phone rings, I got to take it, and I could have to take off. Could be up to 2 hours away. But I'm kind of hoping that I do get some rain. It'd be great if it rained. I get some call out and make some more money. That's other than that, I got to sit around the house. I can't really. I don't have to sit around the house, but I can't get involved with anything. Can't go hiking anywhere. I can't really do too much because if I get called, I got to take off and take care of that stuff. Trying to think of what some other stuff that I've had going on. Oh man, my pond area back in the back, man, it's growing like crazy. Uh, I've got some. I put some bristlenose, some some super red bristlenose back there, and see how they do in the wild. I'm gonna. I've heard that they can actually overwinter, so I don't know. We'll see how cold it gets. If it starts getting down where it's below zero, man, I'm gonna see if I can't pull them back in. But we'll see. I'm gonna test it out and see how well they do. I've got tons of other wildlife hanging out back there. Um, Man, I can't believe how many leopard frogs, and I don't live anywhere near permanent water. How did I end up with 13 adult leopard frogs in this little 8 by 8 area is beyond me. I've seen cricket frogs, I've seen narrowmouth, is it plains narrowmouth toads, woodhouses toads, and Gulf Coast toads, and cricket frogs all inside that little area. And there was even a water snake nearby. It was in my yard under a boat. So that was kind of cool. If plecos can handle being in the water just south of Austin, they should be able to overwinter in the ponds just fine. Well, those are common plecos. That's a different species. So I don't know if the other plecos, some of those are from different areas. So I don't think that means all plecos can definitely handle it. But certainly some will. And I think they'll be okay. But yeah, and I've seen a couple dead common plecos right here in Lake Granbury uh, in the park. So I'm hoping that it was kind of cool. Hopefully they died of cold. The cold killed them off. Hate to say something died, but I don't want them taken over. So in this case, having them die is not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. It kind of sucks to have stuff die. So the dang things are bulletproof practically. Get them out of the water and just a little bit of mud, and they'll survive for months. The roaches of the aquatic world. Yeah, I agree. They are. Most of them are pretty tough, and I'm betting they make it. I am really, really betting they make it. Ugh. So, oh man, I had a scare a couple of days ago. I came home after work and I walked into a house that's humid and kind of warm. And I was like, "Uh oh, what's going on?" And I quickly realized my AC was out. Not fun. Uh, So yeah, I had to quickly scramble around trying to find out what was going on. Luckily, one of my best friends, Mario, used to be a HVAC tech for residential. Now he works for commercial stuff at a hospital nearby. He's actually a supervisor, so he knows his stuff really well. So I know air conditioners pretty well. I've fixed my air conditioners at my house and the other house multiple times. So I'm pretty good. I understand how they work. I went through aviation school, and part of that training that I got was air conditioning systems. So I've got a background. I know what I'm doing, but I don't have the experience that he has. So I never have AC problems. One of the first people I call is him, even though I kind of know what I'm doing. I might poke around and get an idea what's going on. and I realized that my fan in the attic, the blower fan, was not working. AC lines outside were all froze up, and everything. I'm going great. I thought maybe I had low low freon or something like that. Nope, it was froze up. So 83 degrees in the house, which is not terrible yet because it's like 96 or 97 outside. And this was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I still had several hours before dark. So I'm scrambling. Aviation school. That's my next venture. What does it say? Overwinter in the pond. Wow. I'm not saying overwinter. Yeah. But I do all kind of stuff. Silver Creek. But so I scrambled around, realized that the fan was out. So I went up there, pulled it apart, fired it up, tried it. It was just, making that humming noise. Tried to spin it to get it going. Sometimes there's a start capacitor. So a capacitor that helps it get started. Once you get it started, it'll run. So I thought maybe if I could just get it going, it's not going to shut off for a while because it's so hot out. And so I tried that, and no luck. It's locked up. It's not locked up, but it's messed up. So dang it! So the run capacitor is probably dead. So looked at the capacitor, pulled it out real quick, looked around. Luckily, Mario mentioned Ace Hardware may have some stuff. Home Depot's, Lowe's, no, they don't have anything like that I needed. So they had one up there at Ace about 30 minutes away, 30, 45 minutes away. Ran up there before they closed, got back, put it in place, boom, it started up. Motor started turning, oh, thank goodness. So I let it run for a little bit, and it started sounding really bad. And we're like, well, what's going on? And then the sound like bearings grinding and everything, and we're like, oh man, I shut it off because it wasn't even turning very fast. I realized that the motor is shot. So the motor being shot probably put stress on that capacitor and blew it out too. So next day, got up early, went down, picked me up a motor, which was not exactly the same. It wasn't a drop-in replacement. Definitely compatible, but had some extra wires on for extra speeds. No big deal. Went and dropped that back in there, fired it back up. It was getting hot by this time. It was probably about 10 o'clock in the morning or so, 10, 11. Getting hot. Got it back in there. I'm sweating my brains out. Sitting there watching it run for a minute or two to make sure everything's going to be fine. Then I hear it making some bad noise again. It was great. Shut it off, as it turned out, it went zing, 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 zing. It was rubbing. Well, when I get the mouthpiece together, you got a squirrel cage, they call it. It's like a round fan, and there's like real thick. And the shaft goes up through the middle of it. Well, that shaft has to come off to change the motor, and you put it back on. Well, the whole thing is inside of a bigger housing. You can't take the squirrel cage out, so you got to line it all up and then try to get it just right in there. Well, when I tightened it up, I didn't tighten the nut up enough, and it slid down and started rubbing. So I think holding back out again, trying to fix it. Now I'm sweating my brains out. It's hot. So, but anyhow, got it all back in. All was good. So it's actually working really good now. Have a great evening. I got around. Okay, happy place. Have a good evening. Let's see. Tommy say, is that the capacitor you showed pictures of on Facebook? Yes, sir, it was. Exactly right. And Mr. Steve. If you have eggs on peat, check them. Our AC went out while we were in at the. Oh no, your AC went out while you were at the AK convention. Oh no, all my went over right because I didn't check until I expected them to be ready. Oh yeah, I wouldn't thought about that. 'Cause it warmed up, and then that accelerated their metabolism and got them to hatch. Oh man, that sucks, man. That's one of my fears, man. Going out of town and AC goes out. What you could invest in, like I've got, is these little sensors. They're not very expensive, and you don't have to pay for the service or anything. But you buy these little sensors that are heat and humidity sensors. Little app on your phone, and you can set the parameters, so it'll send you an alarm. It'll send you text messages or emails, whatever, letting you know that your equipment's got too hot. So that might save you in the future. Put some of those in your house, and then if it gets too warm in there, if the AC goes out and you're not there, you'll get a little bit of a warning and maybe be able to save something. Because man, that sucks. My Nest installer can be checked from anywhere, but does it report? Because if you're at like a convention like Hans and I were, I'm not going to sit there and check very often with my air conditioner. I'm not even going to think to do that. So if it can send you some type of alarm saying, "Hey, you got something out of parameters," that helps. In fact, after I replaced my air conditioner, got it working again while I was at work, it was nice to be able to pull up and look at my temperatures and knowing that it'll send me an alarm if things get out of whack. And I could adjust it down a little bit so if it started heating up at all, it would give me an early warning. But just something to think about. I remember when I first started keeping reptiles, man, my friends were having this has been almost 30 years ago now, kind of showing my age. But they would have all kind of problems with their air conditioners going out and on vacations. It almost seemed like every time someone went on vacation, their air conditioner went out and killed everything. So I went and started trying to figure out how to work around this. This is before all the cool stuff we have now, man. This is the internet was just kind of starting to go, and so I took my alarm system. My house had an alarm system, but the previous owner worked over an alarm company. He wired the whole thing up, everything had all the bells and whistles in it. In the walls, it was built in. So in the back, in the middle of the hallway, it had a sensor for motion detection. It was annoying as heck, man. I always go off, and I took that sensor off, so I had it sitting there, just nothing on it, just a panel over top of the wires. So what I decided to do is, and I was having a monitor. I wasn't paying anybody, have anybody monitor my system. So I took that motion detector, and the way the alarm system works is whenever a sensor, doesn't matter what sensor it is in the house, activates, it shorts wires out. That's all it does. So it's short, and your alarm panel is looking for those shorts. When it sees a short, it activates that zone and whatever it sends the alarm, all whatever it's programmed to do, it does. So it sends out an alarm to the alarm company. It'll start dialing your phone, calls your alarm company. The alarm company then gets a signal from your alarm. They end up calling you and asking if everything's all right. Then they'll dispatch whoever they need to dispatch to. So what I did is the user guide. This wasn't a user guide. You actually got to go into the installation guide. So I ordered online. Got the installation manual for the thing. This is when I was working in a helicopter on helicopter gyros in an aviation company. So I had a lot of electronics background, and I took a regular old thermostat, the old type with a mercury in it, mercury thermostat, cheapest one I could find, and I wired up that alarm to that thermostat. So now what I had it set up, whenever the temperature in the house got too hot, it would try to turn on the AC. When it tried to normally a normal thermostat would try to set off the AC, all it does is that mercury in there makes a contact, makes a short, so the wire shorts out. So now instead of turning on the AC, it sends an alarm to my it sends a signal to my alarm. Well, I hacked into there and reprogrammed it to call my cell phone. This is when you had the old candy bar like cell phones, right? The ones that will last for like a week on a battery. But the only game you had on it was like Snake and simple things like that. So I had it set to call my cell phone. So my wife and I are at work. I get a phone call from my house. I know that my house is getting hot, and luckily I did this because I ended up getting a dog. Dog is a great dog. I could leave toys all over the floor. My daughter had toys everywhere, her little stuffed toys, and he had his little toy. He would never touch any. He never ever touched any of her toys. Only his toy. He was so laid back, smart dog. We had one problem. He loved the control wire that went to that air conditioner unit. Loved to chew on it. I put it in conduit, metal conduit. He destroyed the conduit to rip it open. I soaked it down in the hottest peppery stuff that I could get. Didn't matter. I put a fencing around it. He destroyed the fencing to get into there. I mean, it was absurd the stuff he would go through to get to that wire. No idea why. So I ended up changing that wire out. Saved my house many times. And then when I got later on, um, I moved over to a house that didn't have that in there. I ended up buying some electronic. They're called microcontrollers, ESP8266 controller things, and basically ended up coding those, learning how to doing C++ coding on my own. Taught myself enough to be able to program these to be able to talk to a server that would send the same information to my phone. And I had it set up my phone where I could actually adjust with a little bar or numbers the temperatures and humidities wherever I wanted to have the alarm set off. So it would send me a text message it would put a Twitter notice on Twitter, which is now X, and it would set off a local alarm too. So if somebody's on Twitter and they see my account saying my tortoise pen is too hot or the house is too hot, and if I didn't catch it, didn't see the notification coming through, they'd call me or whatever and say, "Hey, man, what's going on?" That saved my house, and it saved my tortoise really a bunch of times because the little heater I had in there in the wintertime, it would the heater would there's a little what do you call this space heater, a small space heater in there. They would die because they're technically outside and humidity and stuff, and they'd eventually die on me. So in the middle of the night when it was 30, 20 degrees outside, his alarm would go off, in the middle of the night, wake me up. It's this loud alarm, it's this annoying scream. In fact, I used that alarm when my kids were older and they were like young teenagers. They were home for summer and they wouldn't answer their cell phones, couldn't get a hold of them. I would go in there and change the levels to set that alarm off in the house. It was so freaking annoying. They'd be sending me messages, "Make it stop, make it stop, please." So then I said, "Well, answer your phone." So that worked out great. But now I've got, then they changed the servers. They have upgraded their servers, so I have to reprogram it, relearn how to do it. Didn't want to do all that. So now I just got these commercially available ones because I'm going to come out with commercially available, relatively cheap ones. So that's what I use now. Shrinky over here. Well, not fit, just temperature, but oh yeah. But if he has issues with equipment, I will. Plus, if I go somewhere, I'm paranoid enough to frequently check it. Yep, I can understand. Stephen, I came. This is Zen Ginger says, Stephen, it came with the AC. I barely know how to use it anymore. Okay. Silver Creek. My Haggard titanium heater is faulty. Thank God I have a heater controller on it, though. still going to, Still going good because of it. That's good. It burnt my hand when I went to adjust it a few days ago. Ow! Still get shocked. I've had that happen. I've had them go bad where it shocks the crap out of you. That is not fun. Oh man. Anyhow, it's been on here about an hour and a half. Oh man, it's 5 o'clock. Need to get off here and get myself some food and let my dogs out. They probably got to go to the bathroom. Uh, Anyhow, man, it's been fun. Hopefully, I get to do this again. I'll try to do it on Tuesday nights again. That's going to be my goal. We'll see how this works. But I just had a little time. I'm going to take a break from doing all the stuff I was doing here at the house. Got to get back to moving some fish. Got to see if my Niagara are trying to breed or not. So hopefully they're loving life. Anyhow, I will talk to you later. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.